Hello and welcome back to the lead pile. Now you'll remember in a previous video I painted up this tiny little orc in 6 or 8 mil for epic 40k. But evil sunz are renowned for their speed and agility in battle, and his dumpy little legs will do him no favours. So naturally he needed a mode of transport. So in this video we're painting up this Mad Max style F1 car for epic 40k. Let's see how we did it. Okay, so here is our Mini. Now this is a 3D printed epic arc buggy race car, kind of speedster. Either way, it's pretty cool. It has been fully pimped out with all these extra exhausts and armor plating. I think they look pretty awesome, and let's get paint on it. So what I've done to start with is I've sprayed this model with lead belcher from Games Workshop. Now you can use any sort of bolt gun spray, or indeed if you want to spray it red, in this case as I'm painting it red, you can do that too. But because most of the model is going to be left kind of rusty and exposed, I've gone for the gunmetal. Now with that sprayed on, I'm now picking out details, getting the flat base colours painted in. And so I start off by painting the tyres, and they're getting a coat of a matte black. Once I've painted the tyres, I've then decided to add the rust effects straight away from the offset. And what I've done for this is I've got an old washing up sponge, and I've ripped a chunk off. And I've dabbed it in to start with a dark brown colour. This was a Rhinox hide from Games Workshop. And I've just dabbed that gently on the model, kind of randomly and all over. Then I've taken a lighter shade of brown, or kind of an ochre colour, and done the same, and then followed that up with a bright orange colour as well. You can go as intense with this or as light as this as you like. Now with the rust colours painted in, what I decided to do next was to paint in the main kind of paint scheme of this model, and as it's an evil sunz, and we all know red ones go faster, it was of course painted red. Now for the kind of snowgate, cowgate, whatever you call it, kind of barrier at the front, I decided to give it an industrial look, and so I've gotten a base yellow colour, and I've gone for kind of a black and yellow hazard stripe effect. Once I painted this, I then decided to take kind of a brass colour, maybe would you say, kind of just like an off metallic colour, and I've painted in some of the exposed metalwork with that colour, mainly just to break it up so it's not just all kind of gunmetal. And once I did that, I have all the base colours down, and I took a thick chunky brush and splattered on plenty of shading, and I used Agra Earthshade and a little bit of non-oil as well. So a black and a brown shade. Now, once your shade has dried, you can leave the model as it is now. It is pretty good. You've got all your base colors painted in, and you've given it a shade as well to kind of add some of that 3D look to the model. However, if you want to take that next step further, I have returned to the model and I have kind of tidied it up, I suppose. So the tires, I repainted them black. That's just because bits of the rust effect had gone on there. Well, you wouldn't really have rusty rubber tires, so I've tidied that up. And then what you can do is some highlighting, and this means taking kind of a long, thin brush and using the edge of that brush to stroke the exposed edges of the model and apply some lighter highlights. So to do this, I use the initial base color, and then you can either add in some white periodically, or you can just take the next shade up if you've got plenty of paint lying around. And so that's more or less what I did. I started off with the Mephistone red, again from Citadel, and then I worked my way up, and I think I had then a Evil Sunz red, and then got Was Rider red, and I even used a bit of orange as well in there, and that really just helped pop those colours. Games Workshop gives them the strangest names, but whatever colours you use, basically you're just wanting to kind of get that really bright, bold effect on the extreme edges when it comes to these small minis, because that'll really help them stand out on the table. Okay, and so this model took a long time to paint, between 3 sessions, and I basically just had one final step to do, which was to apply kind of a dusty, dirty dry brush, basically with a nice Steelage drab brown across the tyres. However, my wee helper was on my knee at this point, and it was quite tricky, but we got there in the end. I was just desperate to get the model finished by this point. It'd gone on for multiple days, and I was like, nope, we're going to do this, and we did. So I hope you've enjoyed this. It is just a flash quick wee tutorial on how we painted this model. I will get a full list of the paints available as well that we used, but I really enjoy painting these smaller models, and I hope you do too. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again real soon.